Welcome to session 4 of the orientation training. This is the sections of the Bahamas Girl Guides Association. Our objectives are to identify and distinguish between the 4 sections, be aware of the correct informal and formal uniforms of the girl in their unit, as well as when to wear each type, and describe the organizational structure within the unit. And of course, understanding the importance of the patrol six system and patrolling council and powwows. So we are guides, all of us are guides. And there's a song I learned a long time ago. We are guides, all guides, and in unexpected places, you'll meet our friendly faces and a willing hand beside. And there's not much danger of finding you're a stranger. For commissioner or ranger, we are guides, all guides. But my singing days are in the past. I have a volunteer to help me sing this one here. I am one voice and I am singing. I am one voice and I am singing. I am one voice and I am singing. I am not alone. We are 2 voices, we are singing. We are 2 voices, we are singing. We are 2 voices, we are singing. We are not alone. We are 20 voices singing. We are 20 voices singing. We are 20 voices singing. We are not alone. And there's 10 million of us worldwide. We are 10 million voices singing. We are 10 million voices singing. We are 10 million voices singing. We are not alone. Okay? And we are not alone because we have our first group. Our first section are the sunflowers. And sunflowers are aged 5 to 6. And their formal uniform is this yellow culotte with their promise pin here, and notice they have white tennis and white socks. The informal uniform, and we call it camp uniform, but sunflowers never ever camp. Sunflowers don't even sleep out. But this is their informal or camp uniform, and it's a white t-shirt with a big old sunflower on it, and Bahamas Girl Guides Association. These are our brownies, the next section up. They are ages 7 through 10. They wear, again, white tennis, white socks, their formal uniform, a brown dress, brown belt, yellow sash. Look at the shoulder that is on, and the tie. Now the promise pin goes on the tie, not on the sash like it does in guides. The guides wear their promise pin on the sash, but the brownies wear their promise pin here on the tie. And of course, their lovely brown t-shirts were worn again with jeans and these same white tennis and white socks. We like our girls to wear tennis because we are an active organization. Every meeting, even in schools, we should go outside for a bit. And even if we come to school and we're in our school uniform, we still want to run around. And you don't want the shoes to shoes don't have the necessarily right grip for that. And then our bigger girls, aged 10 to 14. Now, when you are dealing with age groups, we're talking about upper and lower limits. But you have to adapt to what your circumstances are. If you are in a school that only has, if there's a school somewhere, that only goes up to 8-year-olds, then you will keep your poor sunflower until she's 8 because you don't know she has no place else to go, she's still in the school. That happens more with brownies than with sunflowers. When they get to 10, we won't start a whole guide company in your primary school when they're in grade 6 or grade 5. We'll let them stay in brownies for an additional year, unless, of course, there's a guide unit perhaps next door. Church groups, usually, or community groups, can stick strictly to that 10 thing because we're all here together and you can just move right along at 10. My brownies must have been with me for too long because they can't wait until September because they're gone. Because they're 10. One turned 10 in December, One turned 10 in April, so they tell me, I'm gone. But, and it's up to you whether you can let them leave at their exact birthday, or you can wait until the end of the calendar year. You know what, they leave when they are ready and when you are ready, when you have determined that they are ready. If you just joined last year, like, you know, it's no big deal if you stay until you're 11. Okay, there's things for you to learn and for you to grow and to mature. But it's flexible, but there are guidelines. Then we have the Ranger Guides. You notice that the Ranger Guides, and for now, the Ranger Guides and the Girl Guides have the same camp uniform, t-shirt. It should be dark blue jeans, not the one, you know, and again, white tennis and white socks. The Rangers also, they don't have a sash, they have a tab, and their pins go on their tab. Rangers should wear pumps or flats with skin tone stockings. We're sort of used to wearing navy blue or black, but it should really be whatever their skin tone is. And no white or cream or skin tone, whatever your skin tone is. Now, a unit is a name given to a group of sunflowers. We're all units. Whatever you have is your unit. And as you learned in another session, the unit is registered with the Bahamas Girl Guide Association and given a name and a number. My first unit as a leader was the 19th Nassau, and the sponsoring body was Holy Cross Anglican Church. So you deal directly with the place that you're affiliated with is your sponsoring body. A sponsoring body can be a church, a school, in the Family Islands it may even be a community center, or you get used to calling yourself by your number as opposed to your name, but you'll know which name goes with which number. And the name is what you wear, the title, the number is what's on your title tape, and you wear it on your uniform. The title tape should go on the sash. The first thing on the sash should be the title tape, I think. I'll double check that. Now, unit size. Please be flexible. When I speak to other leaders in other countries, we tend in the Bahamas to think bigger is better. It's not necessarily better if you don't have enough girls to leaders, because it is very important as a part of our method that girls are known personally to their leaders. And if you get your group to be too large, then it's harder to know the girl as an individual. And for a sunflower unit, we've said 15 max, but of course there are exceptions, because none of our primary schools, we'd have to have 100, our primary schools go, but the thing is you have to have leaders to match. You can break them up into subgroups if necessary. A brownie patch can be as small as 12 and as large as 24, but you can get permission to have it smaller. If you live in a small key, there may not be more than 8 girls in that age group in the whole key. So you're not going to say, no, we're not having brownies here because we can't get to 12. Now, when you get over 30, like you can get in some of the larger schools, it would be more more within the lines of guiding if you could function as 2 sub-packs. Even if you meet the same day, they have leaders that are specific to them. Maybe even meet in 2 other rooms. They can join together for a few games, etc., but they think of themselves as 2 sub-packs. I remember when we were in Antigua, a young woman said her guide pack grew so big that they went into 2 sub-packs, sub-companies, and it worked quite well. For a guide company, 12 to 36 girls. Then you have larger than 36, again, function as 2 companies. For a ranger unit, a minimum of 5. But as you've heard, we're trying to hold on to our rangers with all of our might. So we're not going to fight and close down a ranger group because there are only 5 girls. Number of guiders to match it. Now, aren't those some sweet faces? Yeah. In the sunflower unit, from sunflowers to guides actually, there has to be 2 leaders at all times. Somebody takes sick, somebody's ill, there has to be somebody there. If you have to take one guy that's sick away, somebody has to stay with the others. So nobody should be alone. So there's a minimum of 2, and in a sunflower unit, we are talking about 1 adult for every 6 girls. So if you are doing strange things, you have to keep this in mind. Because, come on, we're teaching sunflowers how to cut with scissors and glue. That's going to take the 25 minutes of your meeting if you only have 1 leader for 15 girls. And nobody's going to have fun that way. In the brownie pack, it's more 1 leader for every 8 girls. So if I have 17 girls, 18 girls in my pack, how many leaders should I have? The brownie pack has 18 girls, how many leaders should there be? 3. Yes. One for the first date, 1 for the second date, and those 2 other girls, they need another leader. Okay? So a pack of 24 would have how many leaders? 3. Now this is all ideal, and we live for the ideal. But we have to make provisions. If you can get a parent who can help, who is not going to be a uniform member, a ranger guide who can help you, but you must have that ratio, or the girls are not going to be acting on you personally, and they're not going to have a chance to have their voices heard. Because sometimes we are the only adults that listen to them. And we may be their safe place. So we have to have that contact 1-to-1, that ratio being reasonable. The ranger unit, they basically manage themselves, so we are the control factor. So 1 leader will do quite well for that. In other sessions, you will deal with the 5 essential elements of guiding. This is our method. This is who we are. And if we're not focused, if these 5 things are not what we're doing, we're running a fun club, and we're not doing guiding. So we share a commitment to this common standard, the promise and the law. We care for the individual, which I've been beating up my gums about for the last 5 minutes. Guides have a balanced and varied program, which is structured but flexible. Guides work together in small groups, and guides are encouraged to govern themselves and make their own decision. Worldwide, World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, worldwide, the emphasis is we are building leaders. And to build leaders, you have to train leaders. And this is what we are about. So the promise is really important. We share a commitment to this common standard. And when girls are prepared, they have a pre-promise challenge that is in their section book. And they get to get their badge, say their promise in a special ceremony. The sunflowers wear a cloth badge. Brownies a silver medal pin. Guides, gold. And I like the Ranger one the best because they have a pretty enamel green in the middle. And even the sunflower has sunflowers. Being younger, we don't want to have them make promises that's too much for them to remember, too much for them to actually keep. Because we want them to realize this promise is a serious thing. So we give them what they can handle at their age group. And our promises, I promise to love God and others. Brownies and Rangers have an identical promise, except for the last line. You have the Brownie Guide law, and guides, leaders, and Rangers, they say to keep the guide law. Rangers is a big people club. It's more of a service club as well. So they have a special codicil to their prior ceremony, where the leader asks, what is your further responsibility as a ranger? And the ranger answers to be of service to the community. And a ranger group actually has to have 40% of their time devoted to service. A young woman that I know guides all over the world, I guess. Her daughter is only 14, going into senior high, and she and her group did 70 hours of community service over the last 2 years. And that is the type of thing we're aiming for, that we function as rangers as not only as a development but also as a service organization. One of our essential elements is that guides work together in small groups. Sunflowers do not have permanent groups. They may work in groups. You may put them in groups for your convenience of sharing things and for teaching or interest, but they're flexible. They're not fixed from one week to the next or one activity to the next either. But in brownies, you have sixes, which are between 4 to 6 girls. That again is not hard and fast. If one girl leaves, you don't have to go rush and try and drag somebody into it. You leave that group as it is. And in those sixes, they can work on different things, they can play games, but they may also work in different groupings according to their program. If they are doing the first year program, second year program, we're going to discuss later. In patrols also, they are permanent groups of 6 to 8 girls. And again, like the sixes, there are times when they work in other groups based on something that they're interested in. Perhaps some people are doing a cook's badge, some people are doing communication, whatever other things they're doing. Rangers, of course, are not organized into permanent small groups at all, I hope. But they can work in flexible groups based on projects. Some Ranger Guides are enrolled through the Ranger Guides in the Governor General's Youth Award. And if they're working together on some sections of the Governor General's Youth Award, then they can also work on this. And WIGES has a lot of badges and initiatives that they can work on in these various groups. But because it's a flexible program and a personal program, not all things are going to be of interest to all girls. You're going to do things, yes, that are in common, but you want to fit the girls' individual needs. Brownie sixes, brownies, there's a lot of imagination type things involved in brownies, and their sixes are named after mythical little people or animals, and each six has its own emblem, which is one in the sash. I think it's one of the first things on the sash and I believe when you had the brownie meeting session, you will become more familiar with working in sixes. And you have elves, imps, pixies, gnomes, and you have animals like a fox. Now, for how a six works, you can use it for your collection of dues, to learn particular skills, lining up for your brownie opening ceremony, which is always good to have the ceremony the same each time. It's something the girls look forward to. It's a way of getting them focused after them coming from all their different places, and to learn skills or to do craft. And a part of each meeting should be devoted to six time, even if you're practicing for a concert, which is not something the whole group is doing. Some of your meeting should still be geared towards some six time. If you have a well-trained sixer, you can take register and use a six rule book during that period. And in the sixth time, they can discuss ideas that they will be using, that they want to put forward at powwow. Not every girl is going to speak up with 24 girls, but she may speak up with 6. So everybody has a chance to be heard. And this is part of what the six is all about. And as I said, we're in the leadership training business, and the sixes are voted for by their unit. You may, if you have a new unit that hasn't been going for a while, you may want to offer a choice of 2 or 3 girls and have them vote on the choice. Or you may outright want to pick one just for a while but it should be the girl's decision as much as possible. And then the sixer chooses her assistant, called a second, but that has to be done with the, and of course they have their own special badges. I don't know which ones they have in the shop. When I was a brownie, this is what we wore. And when I had a brownie unit, but this is the newer one that we use the British insignia, and these are the newer ones. They're metal pins, pin on. So we may still have more of these, but if we don't, this is what you're going to be seeing. Guides don't have sixes, they have patrols, just like the army, but not the army. And they are named for flowers, birds, animals. So you could have your white rose, your kingfisher, your bumblebee, your daisy. These smaller ones are the newer ones. They are pins as opposed to the cloth badges. So each patrol has its own emblem, which is worn on the sash. Guides may work in patrols to compete in games, to learn various skills, and of course the planning, and for these special badges called Go For It. Patrol leaders are chosen by their patrol. This is the patrol leader, the newer patrol leader one, but it's a double black stripe. I couldn't find a picture of it. It's 2 white stripes on a black half circle, and patrol second is 1 stripe. Or is it the other way around? Oh, I got it right. The patrol leaders and patrol seconds wear their badges under their patrol emblems, and the patrol leaders, since guides are encouraged to govern themselves and make their own decisions, the patrol leaders represent their patrol in Patrol Leaders Council, which is a meeting separate from the general guide meeting, where the patrol leaders and the unit guiders meet to plan the business of the unit and the activities of the unit. And that is the PLC, or the Patrol Leaders Council. A well-trained patrol leader, you can have a leader sitting back, crossing their knees, sipping Kool-Aid. That's what we're all aiming for, to make ourselves replaceable. We want to teach them how to lead. So, again, like the Brownies, time in each meeting should be spent on patrol time. Go For It are activity packs that the girls may use to plan their patrol time. This one here is a party Go For It. You think you girls will go for that? Yeah, a party, maybe, just possibly. And there are others as well. There are environmental ones, communication ones. So there are a whole range of them. And you try to keep them in line with the 8-point program and with their progression through the 8-point program. It would be nice as they go through each level of the 8-point program, it would be nice if they had a go for it each time, so that they know that they've had some time in patrol. Because patrols are really important for building friendships, having somebody you can rely on, a special group of friends, learning teamwork, and building leadership. Patrolling council, now PLC, PIC, they're close but they're not the same. The patrolling council happens during guide meetings, and this is when the patrol, this is the business meeting of the patrol. And of course the patrol leader is the chair of that, and then you teach them how to chair a meeting as well, to make sure that everybody's voice is heard. And decide what patrol will do, share ideas of the company for service projects, and then of course the patrol leaders will take your ideas to the Patrol Leaders Council. The 8-point program we'll be dealing with in another session, but I wanted you to see how close they were as you progress from one section to another. Brownies make things, guides and rangers explore the arts. Brownies are friendly, guides and rangers get to know people. Brownies lend a hand, give service. Brownies help at home. These ladies here are making some jam. You can buy some of these delicious jams at headquarters. Brownies have fun out of doors. This was last year. They had a whale of a time at the beach. Brownies are wide awake and they think for themselves. This was last year as well, when they were being advocates. Sorry. Brownies are healthy and then keeping fit. Brownies do their best keeping the guide law. So there's a theme woven through the whole thing, and that's our 8-point program. But that's not the focus of our session today. Sunflowers have a different program. Different, but very similar. Sunflowers make friends, sunflowers think, sunflowers care, sunflowers play, sunflowers do. Sunflowers do not earn badges as of this second, but who knows what the future will hold for us. If you are looking for activities for sunflower leaders, don't look for the word sunflowers. Like we can go in search of guides and brownies and get all other countries, but in other countries they're called different things. In Canada they're called sparks. In the United States they are called daisies. In England they are rainbows, and in New Zealand they are pippins. So yeah, notice I only took the English-speaking countries because I don't think the French ones are going to help us. And this is generally what they do and what they're all about. And if we follow our program, our girls are going to have fun, they're going to grow, they're going to socialize, and they're going to be well-rounded individuals. We progress through the program. They start at one point and they move through it. Now, if a girl joins at 9 instead of 7, you don't have to start her at year 1 because it's her first year, because the things are graded. And you can start her at year 2 with the other 9-year-olds. After, of course, you've done a pre-promise challenge. And we have Brownie Journeys. They are footpath, road, and highway. Again, we get our insignia from Britain. They have changed their 3 sections into adventure, adventure on, and more adventures. But we will use it with our challenges that you find in your program books. And these, of course, fit together into a nice little circle, and they're finished. Year 1 for the guides is the yellow trefoil. Year 2, green. Year 3, red. Year 4, blue. This was the most difficult thing for me to learn, and I'm still learning it. To let the girls govern themselves. And we start in small bits. 25% of the things that sunflowers do should be chosen directly by the sunflowers. I use the same principle as I use with my sons when I'm teaching them how to dress themselves. I would put 3 outfits and say, you choose one of these. I'm not going to let them put on black stripes and yellow pants, okay? Because they would. You know they would. But you teach them how to make choices, okay? And so about 25% of theirs is that. And then brownies, between 25 and 50% of the meetings are planned by the brownies. And they're planned in the powwow in the sixth time, and also they come to the powwow circle. A powwow is simply the whole thing with, they sit on the ground and everybody gets a chance to speak. Now you know, they raise hands in school. So in Brownies, you try to give them a different way of coming to attention. So they can either sit on the ground, and I'm not getting on the ground, and they put 2 fingers on the ground, because when Brownies first started, they made their promise only 2 fingers. So the person who has their 2 fingers on the ground first, they get to speak. Or you can get a nice colorful stick and decorate it, and who has the speaking stick gets to talk. And everybody in the powwow gets to speak. But by the time we get to the guides, we want more like 50 to 75%. And this is training, 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 training. Train your patrol leaders. Train your patrol seconds. Give them the responsibility. And support them where they need help. Because everywhere there's leadership, there will be conflict. So you have to teach them things like conflict resolution. You have to teach them how to be fair and not let their friend be first all the time. So all these things you teach them. By the time you get to Rangers, and I've had Rangers for, since 1990, and I haven't got to this one yet. When I get to this one, I'll be posted on Facebook, WhatsApp, everything. Girls plan 100% of the meeting, 100% of the time. That's my goal. I'm gonna get there. And but again, the Rangers have an executive committee of elected officers: president, vice president, treasurer, secretary. At one point, I had 24 Rangers. That was a large group. So we had more officers. We also had a chaplain. And we had, because it was a school group, we had what they called class reps. So all the grade 10 girls had a rep on council. All the grade 11 girls had a rep on council. You have to make it flexible for your girls, but you have to teach them how to do the whole running a meeting, chairing a meeting, taking minutes. All of that is a part of it. And like I said, they must plan 75 to 100% of their meetings, and 40% of what they plan has to be community service. Have I said that more than once? I'm going to say it again. So this is what you want leaders to do when you're training them for their whole leadership business. You talk to the girls with sunflowers, you talk to the girls, find out what kinds of things they want by year or term, and then the leader plans its activities and field trips. And the girls, basically, they stick out. In Brownies, you give the girls specific choices to which to choose, and with training and experience, you can allow older girls to start planning activities, but the leader is pretty much still at the rudder of the ship. And the girls make choices from specific ideas, from what they've seen, what they heard. You know, one Brownie group, if you have 3 girls in a school and they go to 3 different Brownie units, they're going to let you know what that other Brownie unit did. We want to do something like that. That sounds nice. But I find it's hard to say only do what the girls like, because if they're not introduced to other things, they will never know what they like. Yeah. Guys, leaders keep track of everything. They delegate responsibilities, they train, and they chair the Patrol Leaders Council. The girls make the suggestions for the patrol leader activities, and they deal with money, and the whole thing about teaching them how to be fiscally responsible, and they decide on what they're going to do as individuals, badges, and groups. And remember, everybody doesn't have to do the same badges. You can do what you are interested in. I thought I have 2 of those. Then we get to our unit team. That's us. Everyone in team, hey. Hey. Anybody here have more than one unit member from their team here with us? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Go. And that is, we're all guiders. And the guider is the leader in charge of the unit. In Brownies, they may call her Brown Owl. There are grown women to this day who refer to me as Brown Owl. And they have children of their own in Brownies, actually. The assistant guider may be called Tony Owl. But I mean, that's not a fixed thing. But again, it has this thing to do with the whole mythical Brownies are special. Let's let our imagination go. And our unit helpers. Now these if you got a ranger guide or a girl guide, they are not to be left alone with the girls. They are under your supervision. But they are being trained to be leaders, and they are a very lovely pair of hands. And when you are on the darker side of 50, they help with the whole running around. And you can have a parent as a unit helper. Now this person doesn't necessarily have to come every day, but if you know you have something, you have parents with specific skills, they can come in and help. You know you have a long-term project you're going to need help with, then you can get a parent with that. It is essential that a unit team has good communication and shared responsibilities. Uniforms, we have 4 variations of dress uniform, formal and camp. There is to be no jewelry except small earrings, watch, and wedding rings. There was a wonderful guide leader called Gwen French, who was one of the leaders when guiding reopened in the 1940s. She was a leader then, and she was a leader for a long time. And every time we gathered, she would make sure that everybody was uniformed correctly, including the leaders. So this whole, I know it's fashionable to wear the earrings to touch your shoulder, but that's not really necessarily appropriate for uniform. And your shoes should be closed in pumps, not the slingbacks, or black or navy. You can wear flats if you want, because as you say, when you get over, you want to be comfortable, and these long marches that Elaine loves, you would prefer perhaps you would want to be in flats. And again, skin tone stockings. These are your 4 variations. You can wear the shirt outside, sort of like a shirt jack thing. This one here does not wear the scarf that you can see here. The scarf does not go with this. But I believe you can wear the pin. Am I right, ladies? You can wear your badge tag. All of them can wear the badge tag. Okay? This one here, as you can see, our chief trainer favors. The skirt tucked in. And this is what I favor, but I can't fit the one I had anymore. It's a short-sleeved suit with which you wear a white tie that has the same trefoil pattern. And of course, the suit. I have a suit. But I only wear it when the temperature is under 65. And of course, camp uniform, we see all our varieties of camp uniform here. It's jeans, and again, we too should be wearing white tennis and white socks. And these ladies here in their wonderful Centennial t-shirts. Now, each section has a particular thing we want for them, okay? Besides, the overarching aims that you learned in other sessions, yes, but the ethos, I suppose, of each group has to be slightly different as they progress in age, interest, maturity. So in Sunflowers, we want to encourage the girls to participate in imaginative activities and projects. All your Dr. Seuss books, your nursery rhymes, theme meetings are really good for that, for Sunflowers. And we want them to develop creative skills. You would be amazed how long I have 9-year-old brownies who can't use the scissors properly. I want to start them being able to manipulate things as well. Because face it, some of our classrooms, groups are so large that nobody has time to teach them how to do this properly. When you want to get ready for black and whatever other weird else we're getting ready for. And here, we want them to socialize. This is the whole thing from Sunflowers. The group interaction, being a part of something bigger than themselves. Developing social skills, waiting your turn, being happy when somebody wins, not being so sour because I didn't win this time. Waiting your turn. Socialization, this is what we're into in the Sunflowers. Of course, we want them to develop close friends, as in all the sections. We want them to learn new things and strive. Of course, my vocabulary failed me, so I would like to point out that I got these words adapted from the Girl Guides Association of Canada, Orientation to Guiding. Brownies, we encourage the girls to develop their own identity and be positive about themselves and their image. Enjoy symbolism. Brownies is all about the symbolism, people. We have our mirror, we have our toadstool, we have our sixes. It helps them to identify. And we have fairy gold. So we're all about the symbolism, and it gives them a sense of a belonging and a sense of specialness. This is us. Nobody else has this. This is us. And we help them develop their relationship with brownies. We help them to gain confidence by learning skills for their daily life. Holy Cross Brownies never left brownies without learning how to make cupcakes, spaghetti bolognese, lemonade, and tossed salad. Tossed salad was year 1, cupcakes was year 2, spaghetti and bolognese was year 3. So there's some basic skills you teach them. And safety issues. And these days, internet safety is a big deal. As a matter of fact, WIDES actually has a program that deals with internet safety that you may want to look into. And like I said, skills, exploring science, arts, and the best thing, Pack Holiday. How many Pack Holiday licensed people in here? Hold your hands up, hold your hands up. Whenever you hear somebody saying there's a Pack Holiday training, run. How many Brown leaders here? 1, 2. Run to the next Pack Holiday training, because Pack Holidays are the things that children remember forever. And then you want them, of course, to develop a commitment to their immediate community. And their immediate community means their sponsoring body, their family. So their community services should start. Yes, you want them to participate in coastal cleanups with the association, but you also want them to do stuff for their sponsoring body, for their neighborhood, okay? And then again, for the guides and rangers, We want more of them. This is where we want to really challenge them. And this comes in their 8-point program. We want them to have adventures. When they think of it, guides, they must think adventure, fun, challenge. We want them to deepen their relationships with themselves, with others. And they have to learn how to take action. The steps, if something is wrong, how are we going to fix it? What are we going to do? We teach them how to take action. We teach them to be the voice. Because they're not one voice singing. They are the voice that will take over the world. And this goes for all of our issues that we have, violence, etc. We need to be the advocates. We need to be the people who take the lead. And we need to teach them to develop leadership skills. And again, for the Rangers, we step it up a big notch. Because these are our young adults. And they have a lot of choice and flexibility. And we encourage their leadership within the unit, within guiding itself, and in the community. So there's strong community involvement. Advocacy may as well be their second name. And we increase their global awareness. This is where we want our girls to perhaps travel abroad. Those types of things. So thank you. I'm done. But I'm going to sing this one song. Can't sing the whole thing, but You Are My Sister in Guiding. You are my sister in guiding. You're a friend I can confide in. No matter if you're a different race, young or old from some place. As sisters in guiding, we share a secret drive to make this world a better place in which to be alive. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. My big sisters and little sisters.